It's on you, Freddie.
Thanks for tuning in, and welcome to the Harness Racing Alumni Show. I'm Freddie Hudson, and I'm here with Trade Martin and Bob Marks.
The Harness Racing Alumni Show with your host, Freddie Hudson and Trade Martin.
This week's Alumni Show is brought to you by Bill Houghton, insuring standardbreds and farms for over 40 years. 954-655-5547. That's the number you call for all equine insurance. Bill knows the ins and outs of equine insurance. With this year's new increased online bidding and new protocols in place, make sure your equine investments are protected. Call or text Bill at 954-655-5547. That's 954-655-5547. Call Bill now. If you're buying or selling your home, Joe Rico is your go-to guy. Joe has been representing buyers and sellers on Long Island for 30 years. He is an expert in all types of sales. Don't settle for average. Call or text Joe Rico today at 516-524-4870. That's Joe Rico at 516-524-4870. This week's returning guest is Presiding Judge and former driver trainer Dan Kazmaier. Dan, welcome back.
Thank you, Freddie, Trade, and Bob. Glad to be here.
Dan, before we start the show, why don't you tell our audience a little bit of how you became a presiding judge?
I had to change my occupation. I had problems with my hands. They were basically peeling all the time. Fingernails were peeling off. So I couldn't drive. I couldn't train horses anymore. So I had to do something else. And this is where I ended up. I believe that a few other drivers up in Canada had the same problem, but whether or not they continue to drive, I don't know. I mean, there was a problem with me. I had to wear rubber gloves with some cream on it and regular winter gloves, and one time they fell off during the race. I said, I can't do this anymore. Anyway. So
I know when I was racing, I had broken my left arm in like 3 spots, my wrist, and every once in a while I'd get like a pinched nerve in there, and I'd lose all the feeling in the bottom 3 fingers. And I'd have to throw my wrist into the handle in order to drive a horse.
Sure.
But Dan, recently you made the news with your statement in support of the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Act. Can you tell our audience why you support the bill?
We wouldn't be having this conversation if we didn't have a serious problem within our industry. And that problem is performance-enhancing drugs. And I think people really agree with that. It wasn't the judges, it wasn't the stewards, it wasn't the testing lab that got the information on these 30 people that have been indicted. It was a Five Stones intelligence and investigation company which they acquired enough information on these people and handed it over to the FBI. So it wasn't us that were able to do this, and that's why the status quo is not working. The Jockey Club and multi-track owner Jeffrey Garrell were the ones that put up $500,000 apiece to hire Five Stones. And if that didn't happen, these trainers would still be in the business. They'd be getting phone calls. How many horses did you kill this week? And they'd be laughing about it. These people need to be put in jail. As a racing officials, I should say, we've always attempted to stop drugs use in horse racing, only to be opposed by lawyers who go to the commission on these appeals. And for some reason, commissioners seem to back down somewhat. Not all the way, but they reduced the penalties. And what this has done is created a system of a revolving door because these offenders continuously break the rules currently in place. They get suspended, they get fined, and then they come back anyway, and they continue to do the same thing. And in order to stop it, we need tougher rules. We need an organization that's going to come in there and eliminate these cheaters, these druggies that use horses. I mean, they kill horses. They call up and they say, my horse is sick. The horse has been dead for 3 days. We go through this 2 or 3 times a year, and it shouldn't happen. The HISA is an opportunity for our industry to nationalize our racing rules. We should have uniformity throughout the country. All these rules should be the same. I mean, you have a drug that may be legal in one state and illegal in another state. That's ridiculous. It shouldn't happen. Driving rules, drug rules, withdrawal times, they should all be the same throughout this country. And it would make racing and the industry a lot better and a lot safer. And I really feel that we need to come together on these issues and speak up for standardbred racing. In other words, the rules are written in HISA, Horse Integrity and Safety Act, and they must conform to our industry, not just the thoroughbred industry, but we are different than the thoroughbreds, and we need to have our own rules. And if we don't step in and get this done before it's too late, and I understand there's a window where we're going to be allowed to get in there anytime we want, but I think we should get in there now and get these rules straightened out before it's too late.
I agree with you. How do you feel with the fact that the USTA has been in opposition to this bill?
Well, I think it's ridiculous. I think they're making a big mistake. I believe that if this isn't done, there is a group that you and we talked to. I think it was the president. Some people call it PETA, some call it PETA. And she made the statement to us that we're not here to close down standardbred racing. We're here to clean it up. We want to see druggers out of the business. We want to see the horses be treated better. The Pennsylvania rule now for a horse that is gas tubed with baking soda and other things, ingredients that they put into it, is the horse is scratched and the horse is put on the list. That's it. And the way to correct that problem, and it's happening throughout the country, is to have a gas machine that is just for equine. Right now, they're using a human gas machine, which works, but it doesn't hold up in court because it's for humans. We need an equine gas machine, especially for horses. And that would put a stop to this, and the penalty should be a lot more than scratching a horse.
Correct. This is my last question. Do you see the state of Pennsylvania Racing Commission coming in and joining the authority and turning over the medication enforcement over to the authority?
I think that it's a step down the road that, it's going to take a while for this to all come about. I believe that down the road they're going to have to. If they don't, as I said, there's going to be problems down the road. We can't control this. We can't even go on these training tracks to see any of these bearded trainers. We're not allowed to do that. And people wonder, where's the judges? Why aren't they getting these bearded trainers? Well, we can't do it. Our hands are tied on that situation, and that needs to be cleared up. This agency will be able to do that.
Beard trainers, they need to go along with the chiefs.
I think the most people are upset about the LASIK situation. That could be another whole story.
We could do 2 shows on that one.
Yeah, there's pros and cons, and the cons are not very good.
Hey, Trade, do you have anything in here to add?
No, you really got that thing covered, Dan, and we really appreciate that. It's very explicit what you're saying, and I agree totally. And it's going to take time, but somebody's got to step up like Freddie and talk to everybody. And I think that the beard trainers, if the judges want to check the beards out, they got to put beards on. They have to wear beard costumes.
You're absolutely right.
Go to the farms with beards, and then they'll find a beard trainer.
You got it.
I love that term. The beard trainers. I do.
Trade, I don't know if you noticed, Dan actually lobbied with me in Washington, D.C.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He attended 6 Senate offices with me. Another presiding judge was with us there. Art Gray and Alan Gutterman was in one meeting with us, and Joe DeFrancis from the Jockey Club was in another meeting with us.
Yeah, the one thing about Joe DeFrancis, we didn't have to say anything. He said it all.
Yep. and Hal Handel was with us, too, and Hal is excellent.
Yes, yes, he was. That's right.
Hal is he's right on. So.
Well, he's been around a long time. He's been in many different hats. He's worn many different hats.
Dan, thanks for being on our show.
Thank you.
That's a wrap for this week's show. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to tune in next week.
The Harness Racing Alumni Show